Neha Babbar, and she's going to talk to us about academia and LGBTQ and just like everything about her. All right, so let's get started.
Hi guys, my name is Neha and I am a math and physics undergraduate. I currently am pursuing my physics degree. I completed with my math degree. I love scientific communication and yeah, I also go by they them pronouns because I'm non-binary. Also, one fun fact about me, I love Carl Sagan. I'm obsessed with him.
All right, first question for you.
So I think I always had a fascination with the universe. I always wanted to know more about it, but a career in the STEM field, it wasn't really something that I thought of. It was just like, whatever happens, happens. I think it started when I was about 16 or 17. I came across a book by Brian Greene, and it talked about subatomic particles. It talked about, particles inside the atom, for example, quarks, fermions, etc. And I was in awe because I didn't know that this existed. And I really was like, these small particles, they affect the whole universe and they actually make us who we are. And I was like, I have to study this. I am obsessed and I don't think there's any going back. And my journey began. I think a major influence was Carl Sagan because he is an amazing person. His views on the cosmos, his views on us as humanity, it really shaped me to the person I am now. So yeah, Carl Sagan for the goal. I was really privileged to be a part of. There's an institution here called TIFR which basically works with fundamental sciences. So last summer I was part of a research group that was actually working on finding the luminosity and finding the life cycle and finding the age of a star known as Gaia Andromeda in the Andromeda galaxy. So I think it was the first time I started research and I was really so new to it. I didn't know anything. But honestly, everybody in the research group was so kind to me, so nice to me, and I just felt at home. And later, in my own university, in my own institution, my mentor, she took me in, and I still work on material science, basically finding out which materials might work as cheap, reliable semiconductors. So it's basically just testing materials, finding their strengths, if they are good enough to be commercially produced. So this is more of an application-based project, which I'm really happy about because I don't think theoretical, research is good for me. But currently I'm enjoying what I do now. Also robotics, I love robotics. People in my university, the ones in the physics department, we all work on robots. Specific purposes, mostly, for example, pollution detecting robot. I think that's the one we worked on. And it's so fun.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
Now that we're going to transition to another question.
Well, for the ones who don't know what non-binary means, basically a gender, it's basically not being in the gender binary as the word suggests. That means the people who identify as non-binary do not see themselves being a boy or a girl. It's basically just a spectrum for us. I think every non-binary person has a different experience with, them being non-binary. And for me, it has been the most amazing journey ever because I never felt at home as a girl, and I really just as you go ahead, I think in academic fields, when you find your crowd, I don't think you ever find a certain kind of questioning that what I'm doing is right or wrong, and finding those kind of people made me realize that being myself is the best thing I can do. It was hard. I struggled for about a year or two. But it has been the most amazing journey. I have had so many people support me, validate me, and I think the most important thing was seeing scientists. The ones who are really prominent scientists, owning their gender identities and just, filled in lots of work. So I think that was the major catalyst for me. I realized that it's okay to be who you are, and now I'm at a good place now. I I think even though the community is really, tightly bound, we're there for each other. We're there for each other when we fall. I think one of the major misconceptions we have is that bi people do not actually belong in the community, which is completely wrong. I initially came out as bi back in 2017, and I'm still proud of being bi then. I think people usually judge them for not they think of them as having one foot in the community and one foot in the state community, which is not the case. I think they're just as valid as anybody, and they should be respected for that. Which is not seen, this biphobia still in the community itself. So people are gatekeeping other people who should actually belong. So I think that is something that everybody should work on, both in the community and out of the community.
Yeah.
Also, one more misconception people have is that non-binary people use different pronouns for attention, which is not the case. I think that, I know many non-binary people who also use binary pronouns. For example, a friend of mine who is non-binary but uses she, her pronouns. I think it is completely fine. Gender is something that you discover, that is a social construct. You cannot exactly, I think you can choose your sexuality, but anyways, you can choose your sexuality. You cannot choose, the gender is an experience. You see it around you, and then you pick something that suits you the most. And some people go by more than two genders. Some people go by she, they. Some people go by she, he. And I think that should be normalized. And normalizing asking people about their gender, asking them for their pronouns, I think that's very important. I think the last one, if I get it wrong, stable people are not given this place that they deserve in the community. I think we often exclude them. I think poster people for the community are, just like really feminine boys or really masculine girls, embodying the gay, lesbian, persona that the society has set up for the community. I think it's more than that. It's having people of color. It's having disabled people. It's having people with mental illnesses. I think everybody is welcome. It's not. I think gatekeeping is it's like the biggest problem in the community. So I think that has to be worked on, and every day people work on that, but there's still so much to be done.
Yeah. It's kind of like eye-opening for me to learn about this.
Me seeing scientists who work with, who did not identify as straight, and to see them do amazing things made me realize that scientists do not come in a particular package. They're not like all white cis males who are old and have like white hair, and they're like the stereotype we see in television. I think scientists come in all shapes, sizes, race, gender, and that should be accepted. And honestly, not being partial here, but I've seen people who are not stereotypical white scientists do better work than the ones who are. So anybody can be a scientist. Science is for everyone. And I know gatekeeping exists in science too, but I've seen so many people. I've seen my friends do amazing things. I've seen people who I look up to do amazing things. So I think the gatekeeping that still exists in academia should be removed, and there's so much work to be done. So it's really important to have visible representation. Also, young people who are thinking of getting into academia but worry if they would be accepted because they do not identify as straight, or if they don't look the part of a scientist. I think that is more important.
Yeah.
To show young people the representation they really need. I didn't know I could be a scientist till I saw people being scientists. So it's really more about representation. It's more about seeing a part of yourself do amazing things and go like, I can do these things. So I think the primary cause is, the primary reason to have representation is to believe that you can do it too. And it worked with me. I think there are so many people who feel inspired by seeing other brown people or the black people of color do amazing things. So it's all across it actually. Okay, cool. So I basically started Twice with the intention of making sure that everybody is recognized. Every woman who is interested in space, or basically science in general, she's seen and she's appreciated. And knowing that she can do something. Because traditionally in our society, women are expected to get married soon. The typical, the typical brown society thing. And I did not want them to go through that. So I started twice with the intention of giving them career advice, with them meeting professionals, with them feeling welcome. So I even had some movie screenings. I mean, we all just gathered up and saw movies, and it was fun. I mean, it was like sisterhood. We all felt so connected, and to see these women full of potential, but not given a chance to do something, it just really broke my heart. And I was like, I have to do something. And these women are exceptional. They are amazing. I think two of our members are currently pursuing remote internships, which is like a great achievement for me. I mean, I'm doing something good. I'm doing something great here. I also go to school. I mean, as a part of SPRICE, in order to educate people about science, like science and communication, not limited to just astro topics, but more related to how you can be helpful in science, citizen scientists, for example. So it's more about spreading the importance of science in order to have a scientifically inclined society. Because having that will help people be more aware of their surroundings and not limited to astro, but related to every field, be it engineering, mathematics, I mean, anything. Because science is everywhere. So you have to be more appreciative of that.
That sounds amazing.
I started scientific communication with the intention to make sure that people know that science is for everyone. I did not grow up with that mentality, but I intended to make sure that other people they don't feel the dearth of that in their lives. So I started small. I started with small schools, primary children mostly, and I showed them hands-on projects, something that you can work on, something that you can see. And to see them so excited made me realize that honestly, we're all scientists. We all have the curiosity. We all just make sure. I mean, we're all interested to know how things work the way they do. I think that makes us scientists in a sense. So to see these kids do amazing, I took it up a notch. I went to engineering schools. I went to fellow schools. And also I'm a part of the local astronomy group where we have stargazing sessions, where we talk about science, where we have lectures. And doing so made me realize that kids are amazing actually. Kids are so good at science, and also adults. I mean, no matter what job you do, whatever you do, there is a part of you which looks at the night sky and goes like, wow, those stars are pretty. Or there's a part of you which sees a mechanism and is like, oh, how does that work? So I think science is basically all practical knowledge. And to have people know more about it, to be appreciative of it, that was my aim. And I think I'm doing good.
But we're going to go on to the next, even if it sounds maybe we're going to have to go on to the next question. And I'm just going to leave it for the last question.
Okay, first off, be curious. I think that's the most important thing for anyone pursuing science. Be curious. Have the passion to know how things work. I mean, why things work the way they do. Also, keep that childlike curiosity alive, because honestly, science is filled with amazing individuals. But what many lack is the passion that brought you to science in the first place. Most of them see that it as a chore, which takes the magic out of science entirely. So it's really important that you have that. I mean, that small part, that small flicker of curiosity going on in your head, because that is what will make you love that. Also, trust the process. I mean, I am still not very good at science. I mean, not good in the way that I still don't know many things. I mean, and I accept that, and I'm willing to learn every day. And it's okay. I mean, we're all learning here. Science is about learning every day. Also, having strong support. Having a strong support system is very important in science. To have people like you hold you when you fall down, to be there for you, because academia is not it's not hard, but it's not easy either. So you have to have a support system which is there for you 24/7, and you're there for them. And having friends who are there for you, just makes the difference. And also enjoy what you do. I think that's the most important part. And I think academia will be a good place for budding scientists.
Definitely. All right. Thank you so much for talking to Girl Genius Magazine. It was amazing talking to you and having you share your wisdom.
You're welcome. It was fun talking to you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.